You pull your knees tighter into your chest. There's nowhere else for them to go. The plexiglass sphere around you is 44 inches in diameter. That's 3 feet, 8 inches. You're curled into a fetal position, suspended beneath a B-17 flying fortress at 26,000 feet over Nazi-occupied Europe. The temperature is negative 52 degrees Fahrenheit. Your heated suit stopped working an hour ago in 3 spots. Left foot, right hand, lower back. You can't feel those areas anymore. That's probably better. The 4 Wright Cyclone engines roar above you. The sound isn't muffled, it penetrates straight through the glass, through your leather helmet, into your skull. It's been constant for 6 hours and 17 minutes. Your eardrums don't ring anymore, they just ache. Below you, nothing but clouds and 36,000 feet of empty air. Above you, the belly of the bomber. Around you, glass. 4 feet of curved plexiglass between you and the sky. Between you and the Focke-Wulf 190s that hunt formations like yours. Between you and the flak that's already claimed 3 bombers from your group this morning. Your twin 50 caliber machine guns point downward, loaded, ready. Your hands rest on the charging handles. Your feet work the pedals that rotate the turret. Your eyes scan the clouds below, searching for the dark shapes that mean death is climbing toward you at 400 miles per hour. The hydraulic fluid in the turret smells sweet, like antifreeze. You've been breathing it for hours. Your oxygen mask digs into your face. The rubber seal cuts into your cheeks. The oxygen tastes metallic, chemical, wrong. You can't adjust the mask. There's no room to move your arms that way. You check your watch. 6 hours, 19 minutes into the mission. And you still have to make it home. That is, if the landing gear deploys. If it doesn't, you're 12 inches from the runway, and there's no time to crank yourself back inside. Welcome to the Sperry ball turret, the most vulnerable position on the most dangerous bomber in World War II, where every mission is a gamble between hitting your target and becoming one yourself. This is what one mission in that position actually felt like. Let me show you. 3 months ago, you weren't a ball turret gunner. You weren't anything. Just another 19-year-old recruit at Aerial Gunnery School in Las Vegas, Nevada, 5 feet 5 inches tall, 138 pounds. Small for a man, perfect for a ball turret. That's how they picked you. Not by skill, not by courage, by your body measurements. The Sperry ball turret can only fit men under 5 feet 6 inches and under 150 pounds. Anything larger and you physically cannot fit through the entry hatch. Anything larger and your knees won't clear the guns when the turret rotates. Anything larger and you become a liability instead of an asset. So when the sergeant called out your name and height, you knew. The other recruits knew too. They called it getting balled. Some guys considered it an honor. The ball turret gunner had the best field of fire on the aircraft, 360 degrees of coverage. The sharp shooters, the natural gunners, they wanted the position. But at night in the barracks, they called it something else. The coffin. Your first time seeing the Sperry turret was during ground training. They mounted one on a stand so you could practice entry. The instructor opened the hatch, a small door in the side of the sphere. He told you to climb in. You hesitated. Problem, airman? No, sir. You climbed in. The position is face down. Your body forms a C shape. Knees pulled up, head down, hands on the gun controls, feet on the rotation pedals. The instructor closed the hatch behind you. The metallic clank echoed inside the sphere. You were sealed in. Comfortable? His voice came through muffled. You couldn't turn around to see him. Couldn't straighten your legs. Couldn't sit up. You were locked in position, staring at your feet, at the guns, at the ground 8 feet below the training stand. Yes, sir. That was a lie. He ran you through the controls. The foot pedals rotated the turret left and right, azimuth control. The hand grips elevated the guns up and down. The sight computing system adjusted for lead and drop. The triggers fired both 50 caliber M2 Brownings simultaneously. Rate of fire, 800 rounds per minute combined. What about the parachute? You asked. Silence. There's no room for a parachute in the turret, airman. What if we have to bail out? Then you crank yourself back inside the aircraft, retrieve your chute from the fuselage and hope you've got time. The training manual said the hand crank retrieval process took 5 minutes minimum. In combat, with hydraulic failure, with the aircraft going down, with fire spreading 5 minutes. You did the math. Free fall from 25,000 feet takes roughly 3 minutes. If the aircraft was going down, you had negative 2 minutes to save yourself. That's when you understood what the coffin meant. They didn't tell you the statistics in training, but everyone knew the stories. Everyone had heard about the gunners who didn't come back, the whispers in the barracks, the empty bunks, the crews that returned with 4 men instead of 5. You met some of them during training. Tommy Reese was 1 year ahead of you. Ball turret gunner, 3rd Bombardment Group. He'd completed 18 missions, 7 more to go for a full tour. He had a scar on his left hand, burned tissue, pink and shiny. He showed it to you one night over beers. Electrical fire in the suit, he said. Heated wire shorted out, burned straight through to the bone before I could shut it off. Kept flying the mission. What else was I going to do? He went back up 2 weeks later. Never came back. His bomber took a direct flak hit over Schweinfurt, went down with the entire crew, but you volunteered anyway. Because every position on a B-17 was dangerous, you just had the clearest view of it coming. Your first mission briefing was February 16th, 1944. Target: Brunswick, Germany. Luftwaffe aircraft manufacturing plants. Expected enemy resistance: severe. Expected flak: intense. Expected losses: 10 to 15% of the formation. The briefing officer pointed to the map. The Abbeville boys will be up. Yellow nose 190s. The best pilots the Luftwaffe has. They know our formation tactics. They know our blind spots. He looked directly at you. Ball turret gunners, they come from below. 6 o'clock low. That's your sector. That's your responsibility. You nodded. Your mouth was dry. That was 8 hours ago. Now you're here, in the turret, over Germany, and the Abbeville boys are climbing. The pre-flight ritual started at 0430 hours. Breakfast was powdered eggs and coffee. You couldn't eat much. Your stomach knew what was coming. Some of the crew joked that ball turret gunners shouldn't eat before missions lest to vomit when the turret spins. You laughed. It wasn't funny. In the equipment room, you strip down. No bulky clothes in the turret. The space is too tight. You wear the heated flight suit, a blue canvas bodysuit with electrical heating wires sewn into the fabric. Over that, a leather jacket, but thin. Over that, a harness for your oxygen line and communication cord. The whole ensemble weighs about 30 pounds. It has to fit through a 24-inch hatch. The other crew members suited up around you. The pilot and co-pilot Captain Morrison and Lieutenant Hayes. The navigator, Lieutenant Chen. Bombardier, Lieutenant Walsh. Radio operator, Sergeant Parker. The waist gunners Anderson and Rodriguez. The tail gunner, Sergeant Williams. Top turret, Sergeant Brown. 10 men total. You knew their names. You'd trained together. You'd drunk together. You'd promised to bring each other home. The crew truck drove you to your aircraft B-17G, serial number 4231098. Nickname, Miss Behavin. Your ship, your responsibility. Climbing aboard through the waist door, you moved through the aircraft toward your position, past the waist guns, past the ball turret hatch in the floor. You needed to wait until after takeoff. The turret stays retracted for ground operations, otherwise it drags on the runway. Takeoff. At 06:15, the engines roared to life one by one. The aircraft shuddered. You sat near the radio operator's position, waiting, feeling the bomber lumber down the taxiway. Misbehavin' was heavy today. 12,000 pounds of bombs in the bay, 2,700 gallons of fuel, 1,800 rounds of 50 caliber ammunition distributed among 10 guns. The takeoff roll felt eternal. The runway under Ridgewell Airfield wasn't long enough for a fully loaded B-17, but it had to be. The aircraft gained speed, 60 miles per hour, 80, 100. The tail lifted, 120. The main gear left the ground. You were airborne. Banking over the English countryside, the formation assembled. 264 B-17S and B-24S, forming up, group by group, squadron by squadron. From inside the fuselage, you couldn't see the spectacle. You just felt the turns, the climbs, the throttle changes as Captain Morrison found his position in the formation. At 10,000 feet, the order came over the intercom. Ball turret gunner, man your station. This was it. You crawled to the hatch in the floor. Sergeant Parker helped you. The hatch was open, and you could see the turret below, a perfect sphere of plexiglass and steel, hanging beneath the aircraft like a transparent egg. The guns pointed downward. The entry door on the side was open, waiting. You lowered yourself through the hatch, feet first. Parker steadied you. You found the foot pedals inside the turret, planted your feet, bent your knees, ducked your head, pulled your body down and back, folding yourself into the C position. Parker handed down your oxygen line and communication cord. You plugged them in. He handed down your throat microphone. You attached it. "You good?" he asked. "Good," you said. He closed the turret door. The metallic clank echoed. You were sealed in. Immediately, the sensation of isolation hit you. The rest of the crew was above you, inside the fuselage, surrounded by aluminum. You were below, suspended in glass, exposed to everything. The only thing between you and the outside world was 3/4 of an inch of plexiglass. You activated the turret. The electric motors whined to life. You tested the rotation pedals left, turret spun left, pedals right, turret spun right. You tested the elevation, hand controls up, guns tilted up, hand controls down, guns pointed straight down at the English Channel below. Everything worked. For now. The formation leveled at 26,000 feet. Your sector, 6 o'clock low, scanning below and behind the formation. That's where the Luftwaffe attacked from. That's where you needed to be watching. Through the plexiglass, you watched England disappear behind you. The white cliffs of Dover, the Channel, then the coast of occupied France. You were in enemy airspace now, and the cold started to set in. Hour 2, -52 degrees Fahrenheit. The heated suit is supposed to keep you alive. Electric coils sewn into the fabric, powered by the aircraft's electrical system. It works most of the time, but the wiring is fragile. It breaks. It shorts out. It fails in sections. Your left foot went numb first, then your right hand, then your lower back. Those sections aren't heating anymore. The cold seeps in through the plexiglass, through the suit, into your body. It doesn't feel like cold. It feels like burning, like your skin is on fire. Then it feels like nothing. You wiggle your toes inside your boots. You can't feel them. Hour 3. Your left foot. You haven't felt it in 20 minutes. The burning sensation stopped. That's worse. The burning meant your nerves were still working, still screaming warnings. The numbness means they've shut down. You're in stage 2 frostbite now. You know what happens next because you've seen it. Danny Kowalski, waist gunner from another crew, lost 3 toes last month. His heated suit failed over Berlin. By the time they landed, his toes were black. Not purple, black, like charcoal, dead tissue. The flight surgeon took one look and scheduled the amputation. Kowalski said he watched them cut his toes off, said they didn't bleed much. Dead tissue doesn't bleed. They just separated, fell into the pan. 3 pieces of his body that used to be alive. He never flew again. Medical discharge, grounded. You wiggle your toes again, still nothing. You have 4 more hours in this turret. 4 more hours for the cold to work deeper, into the ankle, into the calf, into the bone. You do the math. If you lose the foot, you're done flying. If you lose the foot, you go home. Medical discharge. No more missions. No more waiting for fighters to climb. No more flak. No more 8-second bailout countdowns. Part of you thinks that might not be so bad. The rest of you knows that's how men lose their minds up here, hoping for the wound that sends you home but doesn't kill you. The $1 million wound. The golden ticket. You've heard stories of gunners who put their hands near the breech during recoil, accidentally getting crushed, broken fingers, broken hands, anything to get grounded. You keep your hands on the gun controls, where they belong. The formation stretches ahead of you. 264 bombers arranged in a combat box, formation layers of aircraft stacked at different altitudes, staggered positions, overlapping fields of fire. From your position underneath Misbehavin', you can see dozens of B-17s above and around you. The 4-engine bombers gleam in the morning sun. Their contrails streak across the sky like white scars against the blue. It's beautiful, terrifying, absurd. All this to drop bombs on a factory. The intercom crackles. Navigator to crew, we're crossing the French coast. Stay sharp. You scan below. The clouds are thick today, solid white coverage at 16,000 feet. Anything could be hiding down there. A staffel of Focke-Wulf 190s. A group of Messerschmitt 109s. Fighters scrambling from airfields you can't see, climbing through the clouds, preparing to bounce the formation. Your job is to see them first. Hour 3, 42 minutes. A lone Messerschmitt 109 breaks through the cloud layer, 5,000 feet below, climbing fast. Heading straight for a B-17 on your formation's left flank, Lucky Lady, tail number 4297. You can see her clearly. The sun glints off her turret. You can see her ball turret gunner, another small man in another glass sphere, scanning his sector. The Me-109 is in your sector. Ball turret to crew. Single bandit, 7 o'clock low, climbing toward Lucky Lady. Captain Morrison's voice. Copy. Track him. You rotate the turret smoothly. The hydraulics are working perfectly today. No grinding, no hesitation, just smooth electric precision. You track the fighter's climb. The computing sight locks on. The reticle centers on the fighter's nose. Range, 2,000 feet, closing. You wait. Discipline. Training. Don't waste ammunition at long range. The 50 calibers are effective to 1,500 meters, but you want a sure kill. You wait. 1,000 feet. The Me-109 hasn't seen you tracking him. He's focused on Lucky Lady. His cannons are pointed at her engines. He's lining up the shot. He's going to open fire in 3 seconds. Lucky Lady's waist gunners haven't spotted him yet. Her ball turret gunner is looking the wrong direction. 800 feet. You squeeze both triggers. The twin 50s erupt. The vibration rattles your teeth. The sound hammers your eardrums. Spent casings eject, clattering around your feet. Your tracers arc outward, bright red streaks cutting through the cold air. The computing sight is perfect today. Your rounds lead the target exactly right. They converge on the Me-109's engine, cowling like magic, like the training films showed you, like the instructors promised it would work. Impacts, sparks flying, metal fragments peeling away. The fighter's propeller shatters. One blade tears free, tumbling away. Black smoke pours from the engine. The Me-109 rolls left, breaking away from the attack, diving toward the clouds. You keep firing. 3-second burst. More impacts on the fuselage. The canopy shatters. The fighter rolls inverted, smoke pouring, diving, spiraling down through the clouds. Gone. Kill confirmed. Through the intercom, Lucky Lady's pilot. Ball turret, good shooting. You saved our necks. We owe you a beer. Captain Morrison. Nice work. Stay sharp. You rotate back to your sector. Resume scanning. Your hands are steady on the gun controls. The hydraulics hum smoothly. The turret responds to your slightest input. The guns are loaded, ready, perfectly maintained. For 6 minutes and 30 seconds, you feel like the propaganda promised. Elite, essential, unstoppable. This is why the position exists. This is what you trained for. Not the cold, not the cramps, not the fear. This moment when your skill, your position, your vigilance makes the difference between 10 men living or dying. You saved Lucky Lady, all 10 crew members, because you saw the threat, because you tracked it, because you fired at the right moment with the right lead and the right discipline. This is why men volunteer for the ball turret. This moment, this feeling, this knowledge that you matter. You check your ammunition counter. 720 rounds remaining. You're good for another engagement, maybe 2. You scan your sector. Nothing visible, just clouds and empty sky. Then the flak starts. The first flak appears at hour 4:09 minutes. You see it before you hear it. Black puffs materialize ahead of the formation, dozens of them, then hundreds. German 88mm anti-aircraft guns firing from the ground. Each black puff is a shell detonating, sending shrapnel in every direction. The flak appears at your altitude, slightly ahead. The gunners below have your range. They're tracking your formation. The intercom explodes with chatter. Flak, 12 o'clock level, heavy flak. Box barrage, stay in formation. The B-17s don't evade. You can't. Evasive maneuvers break the formation. Breaking formation means losing the overlapping defensive fire that keeps you alive, so you fly straight into it. Straight into the field of exploding steel. The first burst sounds like gravel hitting the fuselage, shrapnel peppering the aluminum skin. You hear it, feel it, the aircraft shudders. You scan the engines, all 4 still running. You scan the wings, No holes you can see. You scan the tail. Still there. Another burst. Closer. The plexiglass around you rings like a bell. A piece of shrapnel hit the turret sphere. Didn't penetrate. The plexiglass held. You see the impact mark a white star-shaped crack in the lower left quadrant. The glass spider webs outward from the impact point but doesn't shatter. Not yet. More bursts. The sky fills with black smoke. The flak is so thick you can barely see the bombers ahead of you. The formation flies through it anyway. You have no choice. The target is still 80 miles away. You're committed. A B-17 200 yards to your right takes a direct hit. The number 2 engine explodes. Fire spreads along the wing. The bomber drops out of formation, trailing flames. You watch. You can't not watch. The crew is bailing out. Parachutes bloom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 parachutes. 3 men didn't get out. The bomber spirals down, burning, breaking apart. The tail section separates. The wings fold up. The fuselage tumbles. It hits the clouds and disappears. 7 men floating down into occupied France. Prisoners of war if they're lucky. Executed by civilians if they're not. 3 men dead. Burned. Trapped. Gone. The flak continues. Then it stops. The black puffs dissipate. The sky clears. You're through the barrage. You breathe. You didn't realize you'd stopped breathing. Hour 4. 16 minutes. The intercom crackles. Williams, the tail gunner, voice tight. Bandits! 6 o'clock level. Fighters coming in. Your sector. You rotate the turret, scanning low. At first, nothing. Then you see them. Focke-Wulf 190s, radial engines, wide wings, yellow noses. The Abbeville boys. 8 of them. Climbing through the clouds below your formation, 5,000 feet down, gaining altitude fast. Your hands tighten on the gun controls. This is it. The Focke-Wulf 190 is one of the deadliest fighters in the Luftwaffe inventory. Top speed, 426 miles per hour. Armament, 4 20mm cannons, 2 13mm machine guns. Pilot. Skill level. Veteran. These aren't replacement pilots. These are the ones who've survived. The ones who know how to kill bombers. They're climbing toward you. You key your throat, Mike. Ball turret to crew. 8 bandits, 6 o'clock low, coming up through the clouds. Range 4,000 feet. Morrison's voice. Copy. Keep tracking. You track them. The FWs climb in formation, 2 elements of 4, staggered. They're coordinating their approach. The lead element will attack first from below, pulling up through the formation's belly. The second element will follow 5 seconds later, hitting any stragglers. Standard Luftwaffe tactics. You've been briefed on this. You know what's coming. Range. 3,000 feet. Still climbing. Your twin 50 calibers are loaded. 720 rounds remaining after your Me-109 kill. That gives you roughly 27 seconds of continuous fire before you're dry. But you can't fire continuously. The barrels overheat. Sustained fire warps the steel, jams the action. You have to fire in bursts. 3 to 5 seconds max. Let them cool. Fire again. Range. 2,000 feet. The FWs split. 4 break left, 4 break right. They're setting up a crossfire, hitting the formation from multiple angles simultaneously. This makes defensive fire difficult. You can only track targets in your sector. The waist gunners and top turret handle the sides. Williams handles the rear. But below? That's your sector. That's your responsibility. Range, 1,000 feet. The lead element 4 FWs roll inverted and dive toward the formation from below. This is the nightmare scenario. Fighters coming at you head-on, but you're upside down to them. Your feet are pointing at them. Your head is pointing at the sky. The world is reversed. They open fire at 800 feet. You see the muzzle flashes. Bright orange strobes from the nose cannons. Tracers arc toward your formation. 20mm rounds designed to punch through aluminum, through fuel tanks, through engines, through crew. You return fire. You squeeze both triggers. The twin 50 calibers erupt. The guns vibrate in their mounts. The sound is overwhelming, a continuous hammering roar that drowns out the engine noise. Spent shell casings eject from the breeches, clattering against the inside of the turret sphere. Brass casings everywhere, rolling around your feet, piling up in the corners. Your tracers reach out toward the lead FW. Bright red streaks cutting through the sky, you walk them onto the target. The computing site helps it automatically adjusts for lead and drop based on target range and speed. But you still need to aim, still need to track. The closing speed is insane. The FW is coming at you at 420 miles per hour. You're flying at 200 miles per hour. Closing speed, over 600 miles per hour. That's 10 miles per minute, 1,000 feet per 6 seconds. You have 3 seconds to kill him before he reaches your formation. Your tracers converge on the FW's nose. You see impacts, sparks flying off the engine, cowling, pieces of aluminum tearing away. The fighter keeps coming. You keep firing. More impacts. The FW's canopy shatters. The fighter rolls left, breaks away, spiraling down, trailing smoke. 2 kills today. No time to celebrate. The second FW is right behind him. You rotate left, tracking. The fighter is already opening fire. Tracers zip past your turret so close you can see them clearly. Individual rounds tumbling as they pass. Rounds impact the fuselage above you. You hear it. Metallic thunder. Something hits hard. Someone screams on the intercom. "I'm hit! I'm hit!" Rodriguez, waist gunner. You fire. 3-second burst. The FW is closing too fast. Your rounds miss you lead too much. The fighter flashes past underneath you, 20 feet away. You catch a glimpse of the pilot's face. Young, leather helmet, goggles, oxygen mask, human. Then he's gone, climbing away, preparing for another pass. The third and fourth FWs attack simultaneously from different angles. You can't track both. You choose the closer one, right side, low, 500 feet. You rotate, fire. Your rounds connect. The fighter's left wing erupts, fuel tank hit. The wing tears away. The FW tumbles. Dead. 3 kills. The fourth FW comes in from the left. You can't swing the turret fast enough. He fires. His rounds hit misbehaving somewhere aft. Williams, the tail gunner, stops transmitting. The engagement lasts 42 seconds. It feels like hours. When the fighters break away, you assess the damage. Your ammunition counter, 280 rounds. You've fired over 1,400 rounds today. That's 87% of your ammunition gone. You have 1 more engagement left, maybe. The intercom is chaos. Williams, report. No response from the tail. Anderson, check on Williams. On it. Silence. Then, Williams is hit bad. Through the chest. He's alive. Barely. I'm working on him. Rodriguez? Leg wound. I'll live. Keep flying. Captain Morrison's voice cuts through the chatter. Chen, how far to target? 14 minutes. 14 minutes to the target. Then the bomb run. Then the same distance back, and the fighters will be waiting. Your hands are shaking. Not from cold, from adrenaline, from fear, from the sudden visceral understanding that you almost died just now. The FW that flashed past your turret, if he'd fired 1 second earlier, if his aim had been 1 degree different, those 20mm rounds would have hit you instead of the tail. You'd be like Williams, bleeding, dying, screaming. But you're not. You're alive. And the mission continues. Hour 5, 23 minutes. Then it happens. The turret hydraulics fail. You feel it immediately. The smooth rotation stops. The electric motors whine but don't respond. You press the foot pedals. Nothing. The turret is frozen, locked in place, pointing left and down at a 45-degree angle. You can't rotate, can't adjust your field of fire. You're stuck. Ball turret to pilot. Hydraulic failure. I'm locked up. No rotation. Morrison's response is immediate. Can you crank it manually? The hand crank. Every ball turret has an emergency backup, a manual crank system that lets you rotate the turret and retract it into the fuselage if the hydraulics fail. But it's slow. 5 minutes to rotate 180 degrees, 10 minutes to fully retract. Affirmative. I'm on it. You reach for the hand crank. It's mounted inside the turret, near your left hip. You grab it, start cranking. The turret inches around, painfully slow. You crank, rotate, crank, rotate. The formation is still 13 minutes from the target. You need to rotate the turret back to your defensive sector. But at this rate, it'll take 5 minutes. 5 minutes when you can't defend anything. Morrison's voice. Stay on it. We're almost there. You keep cranking. Your arms burn. The crank handle is cold, bites into your palms. Blisters form, pop, bleed. You keep cranking. Then the second wave of fighters comes. Parker's voice cuts through the intercom. Bandits! 3 o'clock high. Multiple bogies. Not your sector. But you can't help anyway. The turret is still locked, halfway through the manual rotation. You're stuck watching the wrong part of the sky, while the fighters tear into the formation from the starboard side. You hear Brown in the top turret open fire. Long bursts. Anderson and Rodriguez join in from the waist. The aircraft shudders from the recoil of multiple guns firing simultaneously. Spent casings rain down from above, bouncing off the turret glass. Then you hear it. A sound like someone hitting the fuselage with a sledgehammer. Once, twice, 3 times. Rapid metallic thuds. 20mm cannon rounds punching through aluminum, through structural members, through critical systems. The number 3 engine coughs. Sputters. Black smoke trails from the cowling. Morrison's voice, strained. Losing number 3. Feathering prop. A B-17 can fly on 3 engines. That's what they tell you in training. But that assumes the other 3 engines are healthy. That assumes the hydraulics work. That assumes the fuel system hasn't been compromised. You crank faster. The turret rotates another 10 degrees. Still not aligned, still not useful. More impacts. Something hits the fuselage directly above you. You feel it through the turret structure, a sharp jolt. Then fluid starts dripping. Dark, oily, viscous. It drips through a seam in the fuselage floor, spatters on the turret glass. You can't tell if it's hydraulic fluid, fuel, or blood. It's probably all 3. Walsh, the bombardier. IP in 30 seconds. Bomb bay doors opening. IP initial point. The start of the bomb run. For the next 4 minutes, the formation will fly straight and level while the bombardiers line up their targets. No evasive maneuvers, no defensive breaks, just straight and level through the flak. This is when most bombers die. The bomb bay doors grind open beneath the fuselage. You hear them. Feel the change in airspeed as the doors create drag. The aircraft slows, the formation tightens up. Every bomber locks into position for the synchronized drop. The flak starts immediately. 88mm shells detonating at your altitude. The Germans know the tactics. They know you can't evade during the bomb run. They concentrate their fire. Hundreds of guns firing simultaneously, creating a wall of steel fragments in the air. The bursts are so close you can see the orange flash of detonation before the black smoke appears. Shrapnel peppers misbehaving continuously. It sounds like hail on a tin roof, ringing, clattering, punching through aluminum. You're still cranking the turret. 50 degrees to go. Your arms scream. The crank is stiff. The gears are cold. But you keep cranking because if you stop, you're useless. And if you're useless, someone else has to cover your sector. Someone else who already has their own sector to worry about. Bombs away, Walsh shouts. You feel the aircraft lift as 12,000 pounds of bombs drop from the bay. Misbehavin jumps upward. Morrison banks away from the target, following the formation leader. The bomb bay doors grind closed. The mission is half over. Now you just have to survive the flight back. You finish cranking the turret into position, finally aligned with your sector, finally useful again. But the hydraulics are still dead, manual crank only. If fighters attack from below, you'll have to track them by hand. Cranking the turret while they're moving at 400 miles per hour. It's almost impossible, but almost is better than definitely. The formation turns west, heading back toward England, back toward safety. 300 miles of occupied Europe between you and home. 300 miles of fighters and flak and mechanical failures, and 1,000 other ways to die. Number 3 engine is still feathered. Number 2 is running rough. Morrison keeps it at reduced power, 2.5 engines effectively. The B-17 is losing altitude slowly, 200 feet per minute. The formation continues at 26,000 feet. You're sinking below them, falling back. Stragglers don't last long. Can we keep up? You ask over the intercom. Morrison's voice is tight. We're trying. You're trying. That's not the same as succeeding. 20 minutes later, you're 1,000 feet below the formation. The other bombers are still visible above you, but you're no longer in the protective box. You're alone, exposed. A single crippled B, 17 limping home. The Luftwaffe specializes in killing stragglers. Bandits, 4 o'clock level. Hayes, the co-pilot shouts. You rotate the turret manually. Cranking. Tracking. You see them 2 Messerschmitt 109s. Twin-engine fighters. Fast. Deadly. They're circling Miss Behavin, assessing the damage, looking for the kill shot. They attack from the nose. You can't engage. Not your sector. Brown's top turret and Walsh's chin turret handle the frontal attacks. You listen to the guns firing above you. The aircraft shudders. Tracers fill the air. One Me-109 breaks away, smoke trailing. The second one keeps coming. His cannons flash. Rounds punch through the nose section. The plexiglass shatters. Walsh screams, then stops screaming. The fighter passes overhead, prepares for another pass. You wait for him to swing around, to come at you from below, from your sector, where you can finally engage. He doesn't. He knows the ball turret is still dangerous. He knows you're waiting. So he hits you from above instead. Smart. Ruthless. The second pass tears through the cockpit. Hayes is hit. Morrison is hit. But Morrison keeps flying, keeps the aircraft level, keeps heading west. The Me-109 breaks away. Low on fuel, probably. Or ammunition. He's done enough damage. Miss Behavin is dying. Morrison's voice comes through the intercom, weak, strained, wet. We're not making it back. Prepare for bailout. Bailout. You look up at the fuselage hatch above you. The small door that leads from the turret back into the aircraft. You need to crank yourself up. Retract the turret. Climb through the hatch. Get your parachute from the fuselage. Jump. You start cranking. It takes 10 minutes to retract the turret fully. You've maybe got 5. The aircraft is losing altitude faster now. 600 feet per minute. 4,000 feet above the ground. That gives you 6 minutes and 40 seconds before impact. You crank faster, harder. The handle tears the blisters on your palms. Blood makes the grip slippery. You wipe it on your flight suit. Keep cranking. The turret rises slowly, inch by inch. You pass through the belly of the aircraft, climbing toward the retracted position. The gears grind. The crank handle bites deeper into your shredded palms. You keep cranking. 3 minutes. The turret locks into position, retracted. You open the hatch, pull yourself up into the fuselage. Your legs don't work. 6 hours in the fetal position has destroyed your circulation. You can't stand. You crawl. Parker helps you, hands you your parachute. You clip it on. Rodriguez is already gone bailed out the waist door. Anderson is helping Williams toward the door. Williams is conscious but pale. Blood soaks his flight suit. Morrison's voice, faint, bubbling. Get out. Get out now. You crawl to the waist door. It's open. Wind screams through the opening. The ground is visible below. Fields, trees, a village. Williams goes first. Anderson pushes him out. His chute opens. Anderson goes next. His chute opens. Parker at the door. He looks at you. See you on the ground. He jumps. His chute opens. Your turn. You jump. You land in a field outside Münster, Germany. The parachute collapses. You hit hard. Something in your ankle breaks. You can't stand. You roll onto your back, gasping, staring at the sky. Above you, Miss Behavin spirals down. Morrison never bailed. Neither did Hayes. They stayed with the aircraft, trying to control it, trying to keep it away from the village below. The B-17 impacts a mile away. A pillar of black smoke rises. German soldiers find you 20 minutes later. You're a prisoner of war. In the truck to Stalag Luft 4, you meet Parker and Anderson. Williams died from his wounds 3 hours after landing. His parachute opened, but he was already gone. Walsh died in the nose. Brown died in the top turret. You didn't know that until now. Morrison and Hayes died in the crash. 6 men flew that mission from Misbehavin. 4 died, 2 prisoners, 0 made it home. At the POW camp, you meet other ball turret gunners, dozens of them. Young men with the same hunched shoulders, the same faraway look, the same instinct to curl up when they sleep even though there's space to stretch out now. You compare stories. The numbers are consistent. One of them is James Keller. He completed 23 missions before getting shot down, 2 missions short of going home. His story is about landing gear. We took flak over Stuttgart, he says. Damaged the hydraulics. Landing gear wouldn't deploy. Pilot tried everything. Hand crank, emergency compressed air. Nothing worked. Gear was stuck, retracted. You know where this is going. I was still in the turret. They told me to crank myself back up. Manual rotation. I tried. The gears were damaged. Wouldn't turn. I was stuck. In the turret. 12 inches from the runway. He stares at his hands while he talks. Pilot had two choices. Belly land and crush me, or try to bring it in on the engines and hope. He chose option 2. Came in hot, tail down. Tried to keep the nose up as long as possible. He pauses. Didn't work. The nose dropped. The belly hit. I hit first. He pulls up his pant leg. His right leg is gone below the knee. A wooden prosthetic attached at the joint. The plexiglass shattered. Steel frame collapsed. Went from 44 inches diameter to about 16 inches. I don't remember the pain. I remember the sound, like a tin can being crushed. That metal screaming sound. He pulls the pant leg back down. They cut me out. German medics. Saved my life. Amputated the leg 2 days later. Sent me here. He looks at you. You got out. You're lucky. Most of us didn't. You think about Keller's words every day for the next 15 months. You're lucky you got out. You're liberated by Soviet forces in May 1945. You go home. You survive. But you never fly again. Never climb into tight spaces. Never curl into a ball. Even 60 years later, you can't sleep in the fetal position. Your body remembers. Your body refuses. After the war, you learn the full statistics that they never told you in training. Of all ball turret gunners who flew combat missions in World War II, roughly 30% didn't complete their 25-mission tour. Shot down. Killed. Trapped in the turret during belly landings. Crushed when landing gear failed. Frozen to death at altitude when electrical systems failed. Lost in the fireball when fuel tanks exploded. You learn about the specific ways they died. Sergeant Robert Mueller, ball turret gunner, 91st Bomb Group. His B-17 took a direct flak hit over Berlin, severed the hydraulic lines. He couldn't retract. They flew home with him stuck in the down position. The landing gear deployed. He thought he was safe, but on landing, the gear collapsed. The turret hit first. He was 20 years old. Airman First Class Tony Barone, ball turret gunner, 95th Bomb Group. His electrical system failed at altitude. The heated suit stopped working. By the time they landed, both his feet were frozen solid. Amputation. He was 19. Staff Sergeant Leonard Spivak, ball turret gunner, 380th Bomb Group. Fighter attack severed his oxygen line. He passed out from hypoxia at 28,000 feet. The crew didn't realize until after they landed. He suffocated in the turret. No wounds, no blood, just gone. He was 21. The list goes on. The ball turret was necessary. It covered the blind spot beneath the formation. It saved countless bombers from fighter attacks. The B-17 couldn't function without it. But the cost was measured in young men folded into glass spheres, suspended beneath aircraft, exposed to everything, protected by nothing. One mission. 8 hours. Curled in a fetal position. Scanning for fighters. Waiting for the hit that would kill you. Some crews did 25 missions. That's 600 hours, 25 days of accumulated terror. Most didn't make it that far. You did one mission. You killed 3 enemy fighters. You saved Lucky Lady's crew. You got out before the crash. That was enough. The Sperry ball turret was retired after World War II. Modern aircraft don't need them. Remote gun systems replaced the human gunner. No one has to fold themselves into a glass coffin anymore. But for 3 years, 1943 to 1945, thousands of young men did exactly that. They climbed into those turrets. They flew into Flak and Fighters. They defended their formations. They died in glass spheres beneath bombers. And some of them, not many, but some made it home. If you want to see more stories from the deadly positions of World War II, watch the Tiger Tank video next to see what it was like inside history's most feared weapon. Subscribe so you don't miss future deep dives. And let me know in the comments what other vehicle, aircraft or position you want me to cover. Thanks for watching. And remember the ones who didn't make it out. The ones who are still in the turret,